Welcome everyone to my first ever multi-part developer overview. Now I've been thinking about doing these for quite some time because there are certain developers that I'd like to get into just a little bit more in depth than I can through just a single video. And the first one that I wanted to do is Treasure. And you can see sort of laid out in front of me here is my Treasure collection. So obviously this is going to be kind of a doozy. And also bonus points for anyone who can name the 2 games that are missing from my Treasure collection. I really love the spirit of this company and sort of the playfulness, the uniqueness of the games, and the fact that it's a small company that really makes the games that they want to make. That's one of the things I've always loved about them. Also, they tend to sort of blur the lines between different genres of game. And there are certain developers who will develop games that are very squarely within a genre. And they do very well at developing games squarely within the genre. The games will conform to different genre conventions and those sorts of things. Treasure is not one of those developers. They tend to sort of combine different aspects of different genres of games, and the result is always unique, sometimes great, sometimes maybe not so much, but you at least have to give them the credit for having the nerve to do it. I think in the best case scenario you get games like Guardian Heroes, one of my all-time favorites, which is a game that combines sort of a beat-em-up sort of overall feel with a fighting game control scheme and sort of RPG-ish leveling up elements and choosing the storyline, the path through the storyline and all that sort of thing. So I think that's a great example of where that can really succeed. Sometimes they do get a little out of hand on the goofiness. Stretch Panic is a good example of that, where you're sort of stretching and popping large breasts and things like that, and it kind of gets a little out of hand. There's also the issue with certain games like Ikaruga not really pleasing all of the people who are, or even most of the people really, who are fans of that particular genre. And there's sort of a big divide in the shoot-'em-up community between people who really love Ikaruga and people who really do not like it and sort of deride the game. And I think there are valid points on both sides, but we will get to that in due time. Now, before leaving to form Treasure, most of its employees were formerly employed by Konami. And I just want to make sure that I state this very clearly. This was not a single development team within Konami that then left to form its own company. These were people from various different teams and that sort of thing. So this was not sort of an in-house smaller team. These were just a group of people spread across Konami that decided to leave and form their own company. There tends to be some sort of conspiracy theories about just how many Konami games that were made in this sort of pre-Treasure era, could really be sort of, or at least some sort of overzealous Treasure fans sort of try to credit Treasure with these games. But we do know that there are some games, however, that had a few members of the future Treasure team on them in very significant roles. And I think if we just sort of think about these particular games, you can kind of see some of the sort of seeds of what would later become very, very much a part of Treasure's style. In the arcade we have Bucky O'Hare. Really great game, shooting action, lots of fun, lots of variety to the levels. Also Aliens, and we have again lots of variety with sort of a side-scrolling, sort of beat-em-up blaster, and also kind of a behind the character view, sort of more blasting and all that good stuff. Also The Simpsons, which holds a very special place in my heart. Now, there weren't a lot of arcades around my home when I was growing up, but there were a lot of arcade machines at the skating rink. And I spent a lot of time at the skating rink. I was very good, in fact, believe it or not. And, quads forever. Anyway, but they did have a Simpsons arcade machine at the skating rink. It may still be there, to be honest with you. I know it was there from the time I was a kid to the time, the last time I was there, which probably was in high school. So a good, 10 years the machine was there, and it was really incredible and lots of fun. Beat 'em up action. It's The Simpsons. You could team up to do moves. Just lots of fun. If you guys haven't checked that out, definitely give it a shot. Also for the Super Nintendo, there were a couple of Treasure team members that were responsible for the making of Axelay. Or not responsible for it, but they were significant members on the development team for Axelay, which, as some of you probably know, is a shooter that sort of goes back and forth between side-scrolling and the sort of behind-the-ship use of the Mode 7, which is kind of a weird graphic style. Some people really love it, some people don't. Also, they worked on Contra 3 for the Super Nintendo. And this one is notable for for the use of the Mode 7. Also, it has the overhead stages, which I'm not a huge fan of, but regardless, very creative game. And also, there were some members of Treasure involved with Rocket Knight Adventures on the Genesis. Really fantastic, colorful platformer, lots of fun. You have sort of the rocket booster aspect of the game. You can charge up your rocket and that'll take you to different parts of the level, and you can perform special moves and those sorts of things. So already we have some of the sort of creative aspects and twists on your traditional gameplay that we'll see developed further in the games once Treasure is officially formed in '92, and they sort of have that general spirit at the company. So I think the best way to learn about Treasure is just to sort of dive into the games, take a look at them, and admittedly this is going to be subjective. This is from my point of view. This is not supposed to be exactly the most scholarly approach to this whole project. This is my opinion. But I will also include different historical tidbits. I'm going to go through all of them chronologically. There won't be a video for every single game. They'll probably be grouped into a couple of games per video. Sometimes single games will get their own videos. But anyway, that's how things are going to go. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the introduction, and stay tuned for some more gameplay. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.